The following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
Hi, I'm Ed.
And I'm Angel.
And we're the Coopers.
And we're excited to be able to share with you guys our new book,
Love is Worth the Work.
We want to share with you a piece in the book. It's understanding what?
The power of love.
What is love?
Man, love is patient. Love is kind. Love is endearing. Love is an action word.
And so many people do fail to see the power of love, and we should use it daily. Sometimes we forget that it even exists and winds up getting lost with the hustle and bustle of every day. But this book is here to remind you that
love is worth the work.
You can find it and purchase it
on Amazon.com, or you can go to our website, which is EdandAngelTheCooperChronicles.com.
We look forward to hearing from you guys, and remember, put in the work because love
is worth the work. And listen, special shout out to the Relationship Status Podcast. We love you guys.
We appreciate you guys for having us on. Y'all are doing your thing.
Welcome back to Relationship Status. It's your girl, Nique Cruz.
CL Butler.
And your boy, Yusuf in the building.
How are things?
Everything's good.
Good.
I had a good week.
Good week.
You had a good week, Nique?
You have to put hands on nobody?
No, nobody.
Nobody. Your
Nobody.
heavy hands.
Those heavy hands.
Those heavy hands. We heard about you.
We heard about those heavy hands with little fingers.
Yusuf?
Man, listen, I actually, I hate to say actually, but I taught my behind off this week.
Oh, good, man.
Realized that.
Good.
I was looking up, 3 o'clock, 3:25 was here. I was like,
wow.
Man, I taught this week.
So you earned your money this week.
Yeah, I earned my money. And then, then had practice and ran the little one, the soccer practice. And
Good.
So, yeah, how about you, C?
Oh, I'm great.
Week was great?
Great, always, man. I don't have bad days.
You don't have bad days?
No.
You don't believe in bad days?
I don't have bad days. I woke up, I got an opportunity to change it. So every day is great.
I will say this.
What's that?
You know who's having a bad week?
What's that?
Antonio Brown's having a...
No.
His week got worse.
It got way worse.
It got worse. It got way worse
after the show.
No. Antonio Brown's a whole different case. But there is somebody we need to shout out.
Who do we need to shout out?
Nicole Murphy. And you say why? I know you say why.
Why? You shout out Nicole Murphy?
Because I haven't seen this on TV before. A woman took accountability for what she did.
She did, and she apologized.
She said she messed up. She kissed that married man. She led that married man astray.
She made a mistake.
She led him astray?
Yeah, she did. He was hoodwinked.
Bamboozled. Man.
I am...
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
No.
And she got on TV and said she messed up.
She played a part in that, though.
She led him astray. He didn't want to do that.
He played a part in that.
She knew he wasn't strong.
Hey, if he's not strong, then that means he needs to be held accountable too.
No, just her.
No, just her.
She has some thottish behavior from her past that we have.
So that means
we don't know nothing about his. We don't know anything about his credit history.
Yeah,
hers, she had 3, 4 husbands.
And we have to go back to another point. See,
what's that?
Women's intuition. She should have known.
But their intuition never leads to stop them from doing nothing.
Stop them from doing nothing.
Hey,
Only
you
on
can't
us.
make anyone do anything they don't want to do.
And she wanted to be a thought.
And he wanted to participate.
No. We're not victim blaming. We're not victim blaming. We're not doing that. 2019.
A victim blamer.
Victim blaming him.
You victim blaming
He's
him.
not the victim.
He is.
The victim is his wife.
No.
Mm-mm.
No.
She
is a victim, but she isn't the victim. He's the victim. Nicole Murphy
is the perpetrator.
She's a super predator.
She's a predator.
She was a single individual. She was single.
Thanks,
and she
Nique.
act single. He was married. He didn't act married.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an act. It's a lifestyle.
Oh God.
Well, Nique, we're gonna get away from that. We have two special guests today. Mr. Ed and Angel Cooper, who have written a book who would probably help Nicole Murphy out a lot. A workbook, and it is entitled "Love is Worth the Work," and it is a workbook of love designed for marriages and individuals And Nicole Murphy's both married and individual. And a demon.
And a demon.
And a demon.
I am not going to let her go down like this.
Hey, I applaud her. I'm saluting her. So Ed and Angel, welcome to Relationship Status.
Welcome to Relationship Status, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, guys.
Hey,
No problem.
Pleasure is all ours.
Yeah.
First of all, congratulations to you all. 27 years of marital bliss.
Bliss.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Why you laugh?
I'm just saying, it's marital bliss. I knew it was all good.
It's all good. Ain't nothing been
Ed
wrong.
sounds like a good guy.
Ed is my man.
Yeah.
Angel sounds like a great
He
woman.
is.
Does she?
Yes, a wonderful woman.
Thank you.
Okay.
See,
Now, huh?
see, Nique jumped off on that train.
She just copycat.
Yeah, just
That's all she
copycat.
is. Ed, on this show, we men stick together.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of
Yeah.
back me into a corner.
So-
We don't back you in the corner, Nique. You go into the corner,
Yes.
and we kind of just usher you to stay there.
Yes. And it's okay. It's okay. Well, tell us a little about yourselves.
Well,
Okay, here we go.
I'm Angel.
Angel.
And
You see, the
I
woman
am
speaks first.
married to Ed. We've just celebrated 27 years of marriage on last week. Actually.
Oh, wow.
And
Congrats again.
yes, 27. So for me, I am a former educator at the school department in Providence.
Okay.
I've just since retired from there after being there for 25 years as an administrative assistant, and I created after school programming. And we have 3 children, and we have a son and 2 girls, and that's pretty much about me. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, my turn, huh?
Yes.
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Well,
Let's get the truth here, Ed.
Give us the truth, Ed.
Yeah, the name is Ed. I've been married to this beautiful woman for 27 years,
Okay.
and I spent over the last 27 years in law enforcement. I was a deputy sheriff. Prior to that, I used to work in corrections, and before that, military.
Mm-hmm.
And I do a lot of private security and protective services on the side.
Okay, good.
Jack of all trades.
Yes, that's very, very interesting. Now, Ed, I want to start. Tell me a little about your book.
Yes, well, what I can tell you about this book is it's a book designed for not only married couples, but individuals or those who are seeking to, get into a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We designed this book to be interactive, where it's not just reading words. There's pictures. Also, there's challenges for the singles, the couples, and the individuals, so that it's a way of bettering yourself, preparing yourself. If you want to go out there into the dating scene or into getting into a relationship.
Okay, you mentioned your book. You mentioned your book has pictures. That's my kind of book.
Yes,
Ed.
it does. But you'll see,
That's my kind of book.
Man. Most people may not know. You'll see pictures of ourselves, of our family, images of our family.
Okay.
So you can get a really good idea of who we are.
Real people
real
going
people.
through real struggles, but
Yes.
still, making it work.
Okay, well, I got a quick question we're going to start here with.
Sure.
Ed, if Edward IV is sitting down in front of you, what kind of dating advice do you give him? Where do you tell him to start at so he can find his angel?
Well, it's kind of...
So Edward IV is 25.
He's 25 years old.
25?
Yeah, he's 25.
He did ask a question concerning the relationships, and it's a question we get a lot of. How do you make it work
After
25 years
Okay.
being with the same person? We get these questions a lot, but what I've told my son is that, listen, when you love someone,
Mm-hmm.
first you start off as friends. You got to be friends.
Yeah.
A friend is someone you can confide in. A friend is someone you can tell your most inner secrets to. A friend is someone that will back you up when you need it. A friend is also someone who will be there to lend you a helping hand when you need a shoulder to cry on. and we were good friends. And then my wife and I, it just blossomed from there.
And
once it blossomed from there, it was just great.
So you expect to get all that out of one woman at 25?
Yes.
Women aren't built the way they used to be built 27 years ago.
No, they're not
or
built
30
like
years ago. They're different now, man.
Women different now.
Yeah, but I think that's the vulnerable side of it, is being be prepared to evolve with one another. You don't pass judgment. You're not going to be the same the way you looked 25 years ago.
I was thinner then, but
Same here, but understanding as a friend, we could still laugh about things, talk about anything, and not everybody can.
But could you do that initially? Like, he's just starting. You're talking a little time in. How do you know about that from the beginning, from the moment you met?
Well, there's got to be that one thing. You should be able to have some compatibility.
Mm-hmm. You
need to be able to at least have the same morals and values. We'll start there, but you really need to have a friend. It's got to start off from a friendship there, and then it can, as Ed said, blossoms into something else, which is,
Okay.
Okay, now from the excerpt of the book that we had, there was something called the 3 A's. What are the 3 A's?
So that is affection, apology, and attention.
Action.
And action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Ed, are these proven methods?
Yes, they are proven methods. It worked for me.
It worked for you.
I was going to say, you see how
that's only one. We need. You have to do a case study. We need like 1,000 people, right, and it worked for 900.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I know. Listen, see,
okay.
When you think about, good example, when you think about affection, you have to have affection for each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has to be there. You got to feel affectionate for each other, and once you have that affection, then when I go into apology, see, sometimes in a relationship, say, for instance, you have an argument or a disagreement, something men, I'll say it for the men, we fail to do a lot is apologize for what we've done.
Well, Ed, you're right. You're absolutely right. We have a man here who doesn't like to apologize.
At all.
Yusuf.
Wait, hold on.
Co-host. Yusuf, our co-host, you need to speak directly to him because he doesn't believe you should apologize.
I'm not saying I'm sorry.
I believe apologizing for any reason at all, even if it's not your fault.
I'm glad we have another man to say you need to apologize.
For what? I'm not saying I'm sorry. Sorry.
Okay.
It's just not. I'm not,
he doesn't want to win. You can't want to win.
You got to realize mistakes will be made.
Okay.
But you got to be able to face those mistakes, and face the person who you're involved with and tell them, listen, honey, baby, whatever. I made a mistake. I'm apologizing for my mistake. An apology will go a long way, unless we have a section in the book called "Sweep It." What's under the rug? When you sweep things under the rug, you sweep it under the rug. You're trying to hide some things, and when you're hiding things, after a while, we were kids. We had to clean up. You had to sweep things under the rug.
Yeah.
After a while, that little mound starts to grow bigger and bigger and bigger, and then after a while, once it comes out, you have a whole mess. You got to deal with not just that big mound of mess that you got into, but whatever else has been compounded on top of it.
And you take action. So that's where that all kind of wraps into affection, apology, and action.
Okay, now what would be the action? Holding her hand or buying a gift or a bribe or what is it? All of the above.
Language is different. Right?
Okay.
So in moving forward, you just need to know your friend. You need to know what she likes or know what he likes and know what he dislikes and know what she dislikes. And knowing if you come in with her favorite bag from the MK store, you doing something. You doing something. You getting to her heart, right? And so understanding you can take action in any way, and it doesn't have to always be, monetary. You come in, Ed's been known for that, coming in, singing a song to me and getting my attention. Take action, because I think when we ignore the fact that either something is happening in a relationship and we act like nothing is happening, that's when the problem just festers.
And I will say this though, listen, even though you said an apology, she may not accept it right away. You got to realize that. She still may be festering inside because of the fact that whatever was done. But after a while, once you're really, let me tell you something. A woman can see when your heart is really into what you're doing. If it's really meant from the heart and it's coming from a place of compassion, you can win over that young lady or that young man at any time. But you got to be real and you got to be authentic with it.
Okay. Now, Ed, it sounds like you've done a lot of apologizing. Have you been apologizing?
Yeah.
Yes,
he has it down packed.
Oh, you sound like you've been out here apologizing a lot.
Just walk in the door. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I apologize.
yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah. So shouldn't the women apologize a little bit?
Oh yeah, everyone. It's mutual. It has to be a mutual respect upon everyone.
Yes.
I like the fact that you said, Ed, you did a lot of apologizing.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to think though. I worked in a profession where I have to put on two different faces. I have to when I go to work, I got to be stern. I got to be, authoritative. And I got to let people know I mean business. But then I also have to take that persona off when I come home, and I got to be able to talk to my wife in a gentle and kind way. When I worked corrections, there was a time where my wife knew when I came home, I had to sit down for at least an hour just to digress because my mind is still on work, and I have to, get out of that mode. Then I can become, the husband Ed, the loving, caring husband Ed, because that's been going on for years. Yeah. But I tell my wife, baby, I'm sorry. I just wasn't feeling it today. I had a rough day.
Yeah.
But it all worked out.
Okay.
All right. Hold on.
All right.
Yes.
Ed, this question is for Miss Angel.
Okay.
Miss Angel, I want to talk about this chasing Mr. Ed did.
Saw that lady at the bus stop.
Yes, this pursuing.
Yes.
How does one go about pursuing someone now versus then? Is it the same concept? Is it? I know it's the same concept, but tell us a little bit how that experience went for you.
So Ed initially saw me at the bus stop, and he said he knew that at that time that I was the one for him. Now at the time wasn't.
I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back to that.
That old line, okay.
Love at first sight.
No, it can't. Attraction. It's attraction.
But
attraction at first sight.
He knew that was going to be
He said
his
he
life.
knew, and
He
so
knew.
I was in my frame of mind. I was just going about my daily whatever I was doing. And so then we ended up meeting up together at a club. Mm-hmm. And so from there, he began to be very persistent in pursuing me. And so I would say this, when that happened, thankfully I was informed by my mother, on how when someone is interested in you, it's not about just giving into the first man that comes along, right? It was, what is he asking? What is he doing? What is he willing to do? Wait a minute, what is he trying to buy you things so that you would have to, my mom was just teaching me things along the way. So as he was being persistent, I was being observant. And as I was being observant, I also realized what I wanted, and I knew what I didn't want. And I think that even at an early age, I recognized what I was looking for. And he was, consistently being on his game and he was being respectful.
Consistent.
So I would say, he was persistent, and I was observing that. And it made me realize that he was different from the rest.
Right now, I guess they'll call a little stalking laws.
Yes. It'd be a little trouble now.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of trouble now.
No, I think that would have been sweet.
You can't even compliment a woman anymore.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Oh, wow.
Nique talking about that. That'd be sweet.
That would be.
It would be neat.
Yes.
Okay.
Now they're just aggressive, like, can I have your number? I'm taking you out. No.
It's okay to say no, right?
No.
Thank you.
Well, I have a question for Angel as well.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, because you said that you went to your mother and she gave you advice on how to, what things to look for.
Yeah.
Do you give your girls that same advice?
Let me tell you, we have what we call an open door policy. And I would say about 2 nights ago, my daughters came in the room and it was It was after 11, but they had a question. So we sat up till about after 1:30, just having a discussion, because I feel as if that it's necessary that we provide our young girls with information and not the internet, not so much. You know, I think they will learn that way. But if you have someone speaking to you and not judging you, but sharing information so that they'll know how to go about dealing with, you know, those men that are seemingly coming off extra strong and maybe they're not sure what they want to do. But yeah, I do. We share often with my girls. And then because I was at a high school, I still have a lot of girls that still inbox me and check in and have questions. So yeah, definitely do.
Awesome.
Tell my daughters come see daddy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was my next question.
We don't play them. We don't play those games.
Because I know when it comes to daddy, it's a whole different conversation. We don't tell daddy everything. We tell mommy.
Well, how would
That's true.
How would that advice be any different, Ed?
How would that advice be any different?
No, how would
I
that?
would tell my daughters to say again.
How would that advice be any different than what your wife gave?
Oh, I would come a different way.
Okay.
I would let my daughters know about, you know, what are some of the characteristics of some guys who are like, you know, being overly aggressive, or if they feel I tell my daughters this: if they feel uncomfortable, and if you don't feel right, listen, you got an inner spirit that'll tell you if it's right or if it's wrong. If you don't feel right or you feel as though there's something off with that person, don't even get involved in that person. Now, if that person is persistent and they keep bothering her or bothering my daughters, then they would come to me. But I would go and handle that person. You know, sometimes, you know, these dads today, you know, you got to go to that trunk and get that act right to make these people realize, listen,
Wow.
I ain't playing with you.
Oh, wow.
So, you know
so I would assume you have the act right? Is that what you're telling us?
That be cool stick?
I am a very protective father. I'm a very protective father. I'm protective of my family, you know, and people need to realize that, listen, family is a strong unit. You got to stick in with each other. My thing that I tell my daughters also, do not air your grievances out on social media, because those people are not there to help you. They're just there to listen, watch, and see what transpires. So, you know, don't put your business on social media.
Well, I
agree.
I have a question now. We've kind of went at men subliminally here. Yeah, but what if your daughter was the aggressor? What advice would you give her?
Aggressor?
Yeah, not actually your daughter, but someone like your daughter. If she was the aggressor.
You want to answer?
Well, you know, it's interesting that because
these women are aggressive nowadays.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we shared this with our son.
Okay.
You know, he has come home and said, "Mom, you know, like they just won't leave me alone." And so I said, you know, it's interesting that you'll find that it used to be the other way around, but it isn't. It's the girls or the women that are coming, and they're letting what they want, their requests, they're making their requests to be made known, and he's not into it. You know, you just got to cut him off and walk away. Now, what would I advise? What advice will I give to the young woman? I would say, you know what, you don't have to, you know, be so forward with those things. And sometimes they don't listen, and sometimes they do, you know, but we used to tell the girls at the high school, we don't need to hear you coming. We just need to, you know, let us see you coming. You don't have to be so loud and so aggressive and, you know, still be strong, but you don't have to be so aggressive in the state. And that's what I would share.
Okay, y'all.
That's some good advice.
Your advice for women seems way more nice than the ones you gave for the guys now.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm with you guys.
It was a much softer approach.
Well, I do have a question for you guys. With marriage, it's kind of tough for people. Kids are usually somewhat of a strain for some marriages. How have you guys done it for 27 years with, you know, kids?
I think one of the things that we've done, our children like 4 years apart, like 3 to 4 years apart. Yeah. So we let the kids have their time to be kids, to grow up as kids, nurtured, loved. And, you know, when after we had my son, then my daughter was born, and same thing. She got the same treatment, nurtured and loved them. You know, it's important. You know, we just showed that love for them.
I mean, and it took some time because our schedules were different. So when Ed was making like third shift, I was doing first shift, and so we had to work things out. And no, it wasn't easy. It was difficult.
Yes.
And then all of our kids at one point was doing sports. So we were seemingly like, okay, in the morning, we wouldn't leave. We wouldn't even get back home until after like almost 9 o'clock. So yeah, It was even a strain on making sure we adjusted the schedule and worked the menu and of the household and what are we going to eat and how we keep things in order. You know, it does take a lot of effort. And I think that's why we wrote the book, because we don't understand what work goes into a marriage. We like the big wedding day, we like the fancy dress, we like the meal, we like all the friends there, but we don't understand after the reception is gone, after the honeymoon is done, there is some work that it involves. And some people, you know, it ends before it even gets started.
Okay.
Yeah, that I think, and for some, and you brought up a point of nurturing the kids. So early on, so what you're saying is, because I think sometimes the disconnect with within the marriage with kids is people focus so much on the kids, they don't focus on each other. So how did y'all balance that? Like how did the balance come there?
Ed's a player.
Ed's a player.
Ed's a player.
That's a good.
Yeah, Ed's a player. You got to be a player to know how to balance it out.
He been saying, I'm sorry.
He just walk in and say,
I'm sorry.
I apologize for his kids right now.
I apologize for everything.
I think the balance came when, like my wife said earlier, you know, I worked 2 different shifts. I would work 11 to 7 or 3 to 11, and she would go to work from, you know, like I think it was around 7 to 3. So when she came home, I wasn't there. I was already at work. And then by the time I come in, she was so it was a constant, you know, we would miss each other, but
we understood that there was something. That's how we realized that we had to work at making sure our relationship remained strengthened. And so thankfully, we had a good example. My mom and dad were married for over 43 years. And one of the things my dad had said to Ed, and this was so interesting, we were hustling, we were working, we had just bought, you know, a new house, you know, doing all kinds of things. And he was like, when was the last time y'all took a vacation? And we was like, huh? What? Huh? And,
He told me, you know, he said, son, when's the last time you took a vacation? I was like, 'cause I didn't take many vacations. I worked.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, listen, you have to build memories for your kids. You have to take the time out, you know, and the wife, you have to build those memories, and you have to take the time out to, you know, to solidify those. So, you know, I started taking vacation. Once I started doing that my whole perception on everything, you know what? The family became a tighter unit.
Then we started doing date night. We started to understand, wait a minute, we're losing ourselves. And that's what happens even as a woman. You forget, wait, you have dreams, you have goals, you have aspirations. You're not just a wife, you're a mother, you're a woman, you're a career woman, you know. And so those are the things we had to learn by trial and error. And that's why we wrote the book, because we understood sometimes people are getting so lost in the midst of, okay, we got to bring this one.
Hustle and bustle of everyday life. We just miss it.
Yeah.
Now, it sounds like you all had a plan coming in. Did you sit down and consciously come up with a plan, or was it kind of plan as you go?
Oh, this was trial. This was error. This was mistake. This was like, oh, we got to go back and fix this. Oh, we know now how to approach that.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't like we had a plan. And I think that's why it's important that, you know, even if you had something, we had something to wake us up to the fact, okay, wait a minute, are we drifting apart?
Right.
Are we understanding our value of the relationship? And it took time to make sure that we got it right. And
sometimes we put other things in front of our relationship, and then you end up losing on both ends. Yeah. So you have to be careful about that.
Okay, so and I'm gonna move on to in the same line of your marriage or whatever, and my question is, you have a chapter in the book that says the deterioration of communication.
Yes.
What happens? Like, what do you think is the cause of that?
Deterioration. I believe that the cause of for deterioration in communication is everyday life. Sometimes we don't even take the time to even say hello or baby, how are you doing today?
Or just even thank you.
Yeah.
Or just, how are you really doing? I don't mean to cut you off, but I think what happens is we have that topical conversation, but we're not in depth. And so we created this thing where we said, take 10 minutes and really sit down. I mean, whether it's at the dinner table, whether it's, you're in the bedroom sitting, and talking, go in depth in your communication. Don't just, say, yeah, my day was good.
So it would be like, babe, how are you doing?
I'm doing not so good.
Well, what, then I would ask her, what was the problem? What's going on?
Right.
You got to be involved. It's good. It's nice to be a good speaker, but you also have to be a great listener.
Wow.
You have to listen to what's being said because, sometimes you will miss. It may be just one small word, that she says that you can latch on to and say, okay, I see what's going on here right now. And so, and then you have to, go back in and try to caress and help her out through that situation.
Or just vice versa. I may be missing it too. So, it can deteriorate. Your communication and relationships can deteriorate if you're not being alert and if you're not listening and if you're not talking, watching your tone, creating the boundaries so that when he's talking, you listen. When she's talking, you listen. So it's like understanding what that looks like.
Well, Miss Angel, I think I might have missed a word there. You didn't say the same thing about the woman listening. You kind of said, yeah, you got to listen. Like you didn't put the same emphasis on what you said. I just want things to be fair.
Straight. It goes both ways.
Okay, it goes. But I want you to emphasize it both ways too. Now I want to be
okay
for all our listeners.
Yes.
Now, staying on this communication piece, my man Ed.
Okay.
He's a member of the club.
He is.
He's a member of our club.
Okay.
All right, Ed.
I
know Miss Angel is a wonderful lady, beautiful lady. But I know you've been ambushed before by these words.
Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
We need to talk. What goes through your mind?
Yes.
Because men need to know how to deal with that. Because we need to talk. She's been thinking about this for about how long? See,
3 weeks.
About 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
And we're just finding out.
And you're just finding out today.
That we have to have a conversation 30 minutes from now.
No, 5 minutes from now.
5 minutes from now.
5 minutes from
now. So Ed, for the people out there, help me out because I know I need help. How do we deal with the ambush?
You know what? It's really not an ambush. If you were paying attention to her needs and her wants earlier, you would avoid the ambush or you would avoid the quick questions or like, we need to talk. And if she does say that, then you say, you know what? You have a remedy for that. But you have to listen prior to, the conversation. You have to be involved in it. It could be an everyday thing. Listen, baby, how's your day going? And she'll let you know, or, she'll let you know, and then I'll go, okay. Then the next day, well, listen, that thing that you was dealing with yesterday, how's it going? Is it okay? If you avoid, let me tell you something, man, listen, let me tell you something. If your spouse, your mate has a issue, and baby, how you doing? And you said, she said, well, I'm going through this. And you said, oh, okay. And you walk away and you don't address it and come back to it.
That's when the ambush happens.
That's when that's like sweeping it under the rug. And then after a while, it starts to manifest. It gets larger and larger. And then someone's going to blow up.
And it's not because the toothpaste was squeezed from the bottom or the top, and now it's like a big catastrophe.
Yes.
That's really not the problem. The problem is you weren't paying attention when I was dealing with something at work because maybe the kid was sick at school and I had to leave work and a whole bunch of stuff. But I think we, like Ed said, we miss it because we're not really
paying attention.
Well, let me ask you a question now. This is a serious question I'm about to ask you. What if your woman is a liar?
A liar.
A liar. I don't mean a lie of deception, but a lie of they don't tell you the complete, honest truth about what's going on. They give you a part of it, and then you working with that part, and you find out it's 7 other parts once you start the conversation.
Well, you know what? If it comes to that where, you're not getting the full information, really, I think what you can do, you can press upon it. have questions yourself. Ask the questions yourself.
Okay.
If something doesn't seem right, ask a question. If you're not getting something that's clear to you, because listen, we all have that intuition of, what, this doesn't sound right to me.
Yeah.
Could you explain that a little bit more? And then you understand what's being said, and then you start analyzing it yourself. If it sounds right and you feel like you're getting the whole story, fine. You may miss some things, but fine. But also realize that, they may say something, they may be afraid. It may be something that's really personal to them where they don't know how to open up or they don't know how to share. Something may have happened and they may be thinking about, what is your reaction going to be when I say this?
Right.
And then how's he going to, here's the thing. I lock up people for a living.
Okay.
I used to lock up people for a living. but listen, we lock ourselves in our minds more than we do, outside, because we keep things in our mind. There's a lot of dreams in the graveyard because people don't speak on what needs to be said. You have to speak on these things and put these things out. Speak it into the atmosphere. Then that way she hears it, you hear it, you both can sit down, discuss it, and come up with a plan.
And then maybe now he or she won't lie so much because now there's a safe place, right? Most people lie because they're afraid, because of fear, and that'll lock them, like Ed said, in your mind. And now you're just lying on top of lying, and you're trying to figure out how to get out of it because you don't have a safe place. Create the safe place.
What if they came into it with a certain hang up already?
You know what? That might be that. Some things go a little deeper. We talk about that in the book.
Okay.
Why we even wrote the book is because we had a traumatic situation that occurred, and we realized that sometimes things are more deeper and it requires more attention. So therapy, and maybe I'm not saying that at that point that might not be the place for that individual, but it may be just a deeper conversation, right?
Okay.
Or just revealing some of the things that's pushing that person to not tell the truth.
Would you advise in a modern time, which is I consider now to be a little more modern or current, that all couples go to couples therapy?
I would say this.
Yeah.
You have to, if your marriage or your relationship is going fine, everyone has hiccups in their marriage and their relationship.
Yeah.
But when we've experienced something that shook the very foundation of our relationship.
Yeah.
Okay.
And through that we're strong advocates because we realize, listen, this is something that you cannot take care of, you cannot handle yourself. You need someone else who's on the outside to come in and listen to you and help guide you through the process. Because, it was a strong situation, man. And you have to realize, what? That's the help that you need. That's why we're strong advocates for therapy.
Yeah. And I think it is important that if you realize that your marriage is in turmoil or in trouble, you may need to consider that. And both parties, husband and wife, they need to agree on that. They need to agree that that's what they would, want to do to help maybe get out of where they are in a tough place.
Now, without giving us too much information from the book, could you touch on that topic a little bit? Or is that asking too much to give over the air?
What is
it's been on the traumatic situation.
Yeah, the traumatic situation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't sure if you wanted me to call it that because I wasn't aware of what it is.
Yeah, I
know. Yeah, I know.
Well, without giving all the details away, because where we were at home and there was an incident that occurred.
Okay.
Across the street
Ed
from
was
us.
off duty, but they know of us in the neighborhood. And so things happen where people came to us for help. And needless to say, thankfully, Ed was awarded the Medal of Valor because of his behavior. And and because my whole family was, brought into that place of helping, it just kind of, two people had lost their lives because of it, and it was a shock.
No, two was saved. One lost their life.
Yeah, so it was something that was very traumatic, and at the time, what we realized is we were just doing what we normally would do,
right?
But when you get a jolt or when you get something that shakes the very foundation of who you are, sometimes you could start focusing on other things and forget about something else. And that distraction of life, that's understanding we had to reenact and rekindle why we were in love, why, things may have happened, but it doesn't mean that, we can't make it through it. You can, because love is worth every work, every tear, every prayer, every effort that you put into it.
Okay, I have a question for both of you. In regards to friends, outside friends.
Yeah.
What advice would you have to someone that may seek advice from friends, or not even friends, other family members, in regards to their marriage?
So are these other family members married?
Yeah.
They are married. So
everybody who's interfering is married?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, because most people tell you.
I'm just saying, the husband's supposed to say, no, stay out of that. That's what I thought. But I don't know.
And CL, I'm with you. Like,
it's where the husband's at. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, it's interesting because we say it often on our chronicles when we go on live on Facebook and we talk to couples that, sometimes they just inbox us and say, what do I do? Because we have an in-law that's really acting outlawish, right? And they're involving themselves in our marriage. And so sometimes there's certain things that you have to remember. Your marriage is your marriage. And the things that you experience in your marriage is what you experience. And if you choose to share it, remember, even if you have handled it back at home, your friends or your relatives are probably still upset with either one of them. And it's difficult to if you're gonna involve others into your relationship, know what that entails. I would give advice to some of those friends. Don't be so quick to judge. You're not in that marriage. But if you're looking for advice, I would say, if you are married and a young couple, 1 or 2 years in, or even a little bit more, don't seek advice from someone who's not married. That's not going to be helpful for you. They just getting their feet wet too. You might want to check into somebody who's got about 10, 20 or something years in there so they can help you out.
Because they're gonna give you what they think, that you should do in that relationship or in that marriage. We said it before, you're married 5 years. You don't seek advice from someone who's been married 2 years. They haven't gone through anything. Seek someone out who's been seasoned, or a seasoned couples who've gone through some things, and glean from that. Not every situation may be the same, but you can tailor the situation to fit you and to help you in your relationship.
Well, whose job is it to hold their family members at bay? Like if your mother-in-law has a problem with you, Ed, is it your wife's job to tell her to stop it? Or do you have to defend the family against all forces of evil?
I am so glad that I have a great relationship with my mother-in-law.
Okay. And, okay. So you got to forge the relationship.
What I would say is this.
Okay.
If if my mother-in-law was like that, I would have my wife speak to her mom first. Mom, listen, this is our relationship. Whatever, listen, we need to handle this ourselves. Vice versa, I would say the same thing to my mom.
Okay.
Have the sibling or, the child of that parent speak to them first. Mm-hmm. Now, if it doesn't happen, then you guys have to have a sit down and speak to each other. Listen, this is our relationship. See, because sometimes people, if they're like that, they want to put their past experiences in their relationship in yours. Okay. And you don't need that.
Well, that's a fair question.
I think that's a
fair answer. Yeah.
Okay. But he likes his mother-in-law.
Yeah, he likes his mother-in-law.
He made sure that he made. I have a great relationship.
I love my mother-in-law.
Okay.
And you know what? Vice versa. His mother she's real cool and she's serious with it, and she won't step in unless she said, y'all all right, if it's okay, she knows her boundaries. I think that's the problem. I think they need to know, in-laws need to know that there are boundaries in that relationship, and some of them cross the line.
They do.
Yeah. I have a question for you. You guys have have what seems to be a good marriage, and you've been happily married in marital bliss for 27 years. 27. About how long have you guys been together? Have you been together since high school?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
29, 30 years?
I graduated high school, and then
Ed had just graduated.
I just graduated, and then that's when I saw this young lady at the bus stop.
And I was in the high school, but our high school was different. It was like two separate sections of the high school. So I was in another magnet, a business magnet.
But she heard about me.
Oh, she heard about you.
Heard about you.
Listen, here he goes. Well,
player.
He was
really
a big
popular.
dog. He was a track superstar.
Oh, okay. So that's how he caught you.
So you were aware of him before you met him.
Most definitely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
I knew of him, and so I had heard of him.
So you were pretending a little bit. You were playing coy.
Yeah, she's playing coy.
Actually,
A little hard to get.
I gotta be honest with you, and it's interesting. I had wanted, I was looking for a boyfriend, but not at that time.
What?
And it's when I stopped. That's when he came around. I promise you. It's so interesting. And I think some women may need to kind of just settle in where they are and
embrace your place.
And that's what we said in the book. Embrace your place.
Oh, they don't do that anymore.
Yeah, there's no embracing of the place.
It's different out here now.
It's a vibe.
Yeah,
it's a vibe.
Yeah.
If I don't feel the vibe.
But I was going somewhere with that question. Do you think that the outlook of your marriage and the way you guys see relationships is that because you guys have been together so long and really hadn't had other a lot more outside other relationships before getting together to kind of affect what you are in your relationship? Because sometimes bad experiences with past exes and stuff like that, people carry that baggage into new relationships or into their marriage. Do you think that you guys being together so long gives you this particular outlook on marriage and relationships?
I kind of would say no, only because within the relationship, we had a lot of ups and downs. We had a lot of, problems that we had to deal with. We had to understand how to manage our finances, deal with our children, whether they were sick, whether they were healthy, and anyone can get either, I don't know, I don't want to say bitter. We can get angry. We could say, marriage is not for me because I got this problem that's going on. And I think when your outlook, when your mindset on what you're experiencing, it can affect your everything. It's not like we're married and we're living in a bubble. We still had to deal with things that everybody else is dealing with. And whether we chose how our response was to the thing, my dad said to me years ago, he said, it's 10% of what happens to you, but it's 90% on how you respond. And I think that if we, in any stage of the game, as a couple starting off, as a couple that's been married for 20 to 30 years, if we watch how we respond to things, we'll understand that our outlook and our outcome would be a lot different.
Yeah.
That actually was a pretty good answer.
That was.
She hit that nail on the head.
Oh, wow.
She broke it down for you.
Nique, ain't nobody ask you. I was giving her props already.
Once again, I'm back into a corner.
Stay on that side of the table. You will not be on my side of the table.
So you all tapped into your love source early in your relationship.
Yes.
You know what? We didn't know what it was, but we know we tapped into something, right?
Okay.
We realized
they tapped into something.
Right?
I'll say this. You know what? It was pretty cool because I went home and I told my mom. I said, "Mom, I met this young girl. I met this girl." And my mom looked at me. She said, "Oh boy, you in love?" I said, "No, I'm not." But listen, let me tell you, my mom, she knew.
And my mother knew too.
Yeah.
But we didn't know. This is interesting. That's why when you said we tapped into something, we didn't know what it was. I think what we started to do is recognize what was happening. And I could have easily had,
Easily? Wow. A lot of emphasis on that.
But easy for her.
Okay. She's like easily.
Easy.
Just to let you know how
no
easy.
effort. Yes.
No effort. None.
he hears it and he knows I'm telling the truth. But I recognize that there was something special about him, even though I didn't understand where we were going. We were young. I was in college. He was in the military. So when he went off,
matter of fact, wait, honey, before I've asked my wife the question, after just like a couple months dating, I told her, I said, listen, I want to marry you.
I was like,
and I said, I'll give you 24 hours to let me know.
I was like, dude, really?
Did she let you know in 24 hours?
What? First of all,
exactly.
But she didn't answer the question.
She didn't answer the question.
She didn't answer the question.
I didn't hear your question.
Did you answer in 24 hours?
I gave him a response, but it wasn't what he was looking for.
And I was persistent.
And so I made him fight
right.
for it because I was not ready to get married at 20. I was, still in school, ready to do what I needed to do. So I told him, if you love me, you'll wait for me. And until I'm ready, I hope you'll still be there, in so many words. And he was like, yep. So when I get back, you going to be here? I was like, what?
Listen, because I was calling my girlfriend. I didn't even ask her out. I said, no, this is my girlfriend. She said, you're going to ask me out. You telling people I'm your girlfriend, you're going to ask me out? So that October 26th, it was on a Sunday, I asked her out.
So they were already in a relationship.
No, Mr. Ed.
I was, she didn't know it yet.
Mr. Ed, you would have been arresting yourself. You can't do that now.
Yeah, you can't do that now.
He was in a relationship with himself.
Yes, but you have to be careful nowadays.
You're absolutely right, but I think that was a testament to, sharing to even my daughters. Let these brothers know what you are looking for, what you don't want. No, I didn't say we were a couple, and that's what I shared with him over 25 years ago. I was like,
did you give him a list, a cheat sheet of sorts or something? Or
nothing? I think that, and the best thing is,
we do have some of this in the book with sharing to even our single readers on how to know your value and know your worth.
Yeah,
understand what even though. People may pressure you, still know what you want. Write a list of what you're looking for and what you're not looking for. And I think it's important that we are strong women. We're strong, we're independent, we work hard, you know what I'm saying? And the reality is you can set those boundaries. You can say, no, I want this, or I'm not looking for that.
Excuse me, Mr. Ed, did you say women have integrity?
Yep.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't know.
I've done some research.
I was about to say, you're going to have him saying, I'm sorry.
No. Women definitely agree to things and then just say, no, that's not what we're doing anymore.
We're not doing
it. Can I say this, though?
Okay.
Once I told her, when she said yes, that she would marry me.
Okay.
But I knew there was something I had to do first. I had to get myself straight. I said, you know what? I'm gonna get myself straight, because I knew, number one, I was young, but also I wasn't disciplined in what I need to do. So that's when I just, signed up. I went into the military. I wanted to make something better of myself to give her a better life.
And she was there waiting when you came back.
Yes, she was. Matter of fact, the other day I was driving by the spot where where I used to live at, and I told my mom, I said, Mom, remember, I remember when they came back, I called her, hey, I'm back in town, because I was overseas.
That's what you hit her with when you got back?
I'm back.
Okay. And she was there waiting.
Yes.
I sure did. I was like, where you at?
Oh, wow.
There wasn't a lot of stuff that I can do at home, but I provided for her to make sure that she had what she needed.
He proved his love for me. I will say that. I understood.
He was providing.
Can you share us an example of what proving his love for you looks like?
What does that mean?
Or sound like? Or what items do you need to buy to do that?
The list.
Yeah.
It's not even about just the monetary gifts.
Love is an action word.
It is just
absolutely.
It shows in what you say, not just what you say, but what you do.
Right.
And that's one of the things we put in the book, is that it's important that you recognize that what you say doesn't mean anything, but it's what you do. You say to me that you love me, but you never act like you care, right? So what is caring? It could be just a simple walk in the door and hand you one rose, or just say, I really want to know, am I being who you want me to be in this relationship? What do we need to do? Are we working this thing together? You know, and it's just a conversation. It's about being present, being really like present, being at a place of where you listen and you understand, and not so much of being perfect, because nobody's perfect. We all still have our flaws, but
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
The one thing I can say is we are talking to two very enthusiastic people who sincerely and dearly love each other.
Yeah. Mr. Ed, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you like to take all these pictures? I noticed on your Instagram, book, or is it the missus telling you,
hey, we got to take these pictures?
We need to take these pictures. We need to be in these photos.
Believe it or not,
okay.
You know, I figured, you know, I paid a lot for my dental plan. I'm gonna smile as much as I can. With my
okay.
All right.
That's a good answer, non-answer.
That's a good.
Yes.
Hey, I'm gonna ask you.
Nah, I love taking pictures. I did not mind taking. I love taking the pictures.
Okay.
You know, I want people to see the beauty that, you know, that stands beside me, the beauty that does not walk behind me, but she, you know, she's right with me. You know. And I want people to see that and see my family. And we went through a lot. And I want to see people. We're still standing. We're standing straight. We're standing up straight. We're standing up tall. And listen, we are moving.
And it can be done. I think that's what a lot of when we do presentations and workshops, a lot of them, we make it known that there is behind the smile, there was a lot of pain. There was a lot of things we had to work through. But you can achieve, you know, a milestone. Like I would have never thought. I just would have never thought 27 years later that I would, you know, be able to say I'm really still in love with my husband, but I am.
Wow, that is awesome. Awesome. Now we have another question.
Yeah,
Yusuf has a question.
This is gonna be my last question. I promise y'all. This is it for me.
Last question
for me.
Okay, for you. Okay, I got a couple more.
Yeah. CL over here. As soon as he get to that brain turning, you don't never know what's gonna come out. But my last question is, how do you stay away from the complacency?
Okay.
Being complacent?
Yeah, because you call it the silent killer in the book.
Silent killer.
Yeah.
They call it the silent killer, the sniper.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, in my profession, I'll put it this way. In my profession, you know, if you're complacent, you know, basically you're just settling, you're just there, you're not really putting any type of effort forward in what you're doing. Complacency can get you hurt. Complacency can get you killed. You know, you have to be aware of your surroundings. You got to be aware of everything that goes on, you know, because you don't want to be caught or left out there, you know. So that's why I say it's a silent killer. But, you know, when you're putting effort into your relationship, when you're doing things, you guys are very active and proactive in your relationship. Yeah. You know, complacency has no place within it. You know, you want to keep that out of your relationship. Don't get complacent. You know, don't always settle. Don't settle for where you are.
Yeah, I think it's so important to be attentive to each other's needs. You know,
most definitely. And to be present in the moment, whatever moment it may be.
Because we can get disconnected. That's what that complacency. You can just get like so caught up in the regular. I'm up at 5:30. I'm at the gym at 6:30, and then I'm back home, and then you're missing. You're being. I mean, you may be moving physically, but your relationship is stagnant, and you have to ask yourself, you know, are you being intentional about being present for your relationship? Right. Are you, you know, are you avoiding some of the things? Are you just, you know, going through the motion? Are you trying to make things a little special? We have this other thing in the book called Keep It SP, keep it special spicy, and spontaneous. You gotta have
special, spicy, and spontaneous.
Is that SPP?
Keep it SP.
So you go AAA first, and then SPP.
Say again.
I said, do you go AAA first and then go SPP? Next. Is that what you?
That sounds good.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. What is it? SSP?
It's SPP, isn't it?
SPP, spicy,
No,
special.
S.
He says keep it SP.
SP, spicy, special, and spontaneous.
Okay.
You gotta be spontaneous.
All the P's.
Okay. Well, I mean, Ed, you're talking a little spicy here, so I want to ask you. I want you all to tell us where we can get the book, because you are on tour now. Is that correct? Or?
Yes, we are. We
Okay.
are on tour.
So tell us a little about that.
Oh my goodness. We have a wonderful representative, like our company is representing us. It's T. Fielding Low Company. And we have been moving since the beginning of September. The book release was actually on the 20th, which was our wedding anniversary.
Okay.
And so tomorrow we have 2 events, and we're in Rhode Island, and we'll be heading to Boston, Massachusetts. 2 places in Mass on tomorrow, and then we're moving into October, and the whole month of October, I think our calendar is full already for book signings. Another couple of bookstores are picking up the book, but you can definitely go online to Amazon.com. You can go to our website, EdandAngelTheCooperChronicles.com, to purchase the book. And it's an exciting journey. It's funny that, we were never that couple always being out in the front, but we feel like it's necessary for someone to speak up and maybe share, some of the ups and downs that you may go through in a relationship, and how you can maybe get some practical tips to make it through.
Okay. Well,
love is worth the work.
Well, real love does exist.
It does.
It
Definitely does.
Now we're going to let you go, but I do have one request of Mr. Ed.
Give it to him.
Okay. I want you to take us out. Can you do your a cappella version of "Do You Want to Rescue Me" by Albie Shore? Can you close us out with that, please?
Yeah.
I heard you on it, so let's. So if you will do us the honor, we'll take it out.
Hey man,
forever engraved in my head.
Hey, they go ahead and do it for the people, man.
Did you have a jean jacket at least, or? Okay, if you don't want to, we're gonna let you go.
We're gonna let it go.
Oh my goodness. Well, do you want? That's about all you're gonna give. I'm not doing that no more.
Okay.
He said he's not doing it this time. Sorry.
But here's the backstory to that. We went over there thinking I thought I was the man. Going in the fellas I was hanging with, sang that song, man. And then, I was over my wife's house. And then her dad said, well, I'm a pastor. I was like, oh, man, I knew I was going to hell. But, listen, man.
Well, did you at least sound good?
That's a keeper. That song is a keeper.
Okay. Well, we thank you all.
We appreciate you for coming in. All right, well, we appreciate y'all coming on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
Well, we're going to bring it to an end. Thank you all for listening. Appreciate our guests, the Coopers. It's your girl, Nique Cruz.
CL Butler.
And your boy, Yusuf. Once again, you can thank you for listening to the show. Remember, you can catch us on DefyLifePods.com, iTunes, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and anywhere your favorite podcasts are played. If you would like to leave a comment or dare Nique, email us at rsp@godefylife.com or hit us on our hotline, 843-310-8637. Follow us on all social media platforms at RELSTAT Podcast. That's RELSTAT Podcast. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and 5-star rate. Also, make sure that you give us a review. That's it, folks. We are out. Yo, the summertime is winding down, so it's time to go ahead and get that fall wardrobe together. Check out the new fall line from Defy Life Gear. It's got all new designs, jackets, socks, and you gotta check out the brand new alternate logo. We also got sweatshirts for all the podcast gear you love so much. So go ahead and visit www.defylifegear.com. That's www.defylifegear.com to get your gear today. And remember, Defy Life, lifestyle defiant. It's defylifegear.com.